night, everybody. As I am getting live here Sunday, what the heck is today? The 21st of February, 2020. Let's make sure I'm getting out the other side here. And boom, there we go. Yes, yes, yes. Who shall be first in the gate tonight? Happy Sunday night, everybody. I'm not going to be a real long one. Ronnie, first in. S. Robson, how are you? Robeson, I guess I should say. Like the great Paul Robeson. Well, I guess that's spelled a little differently, right? I'm just adjusting a few things here. Remember, hi Linda, at the 5 minute mark, Streamlabs will and not much I can do about it on here. Just refresh your connection. Hello, Joni. It's now or never. Nice to see you. Bub D. Hello to you, Jody. Good evening to you. Agitator 263. Happy Sunday to you. A lot of new faces in the side chat there. We're going to wait a couple minutes till the chat populates. If you're coming in, thumbs up are appreciated. Waiting for Karma. I love the name of that channel. How you doing, Waiting for Karma? Nice to see you. It's a little spooky, that one. You made it quite a long trip with those truck accidents. It was a ride from hell today, I'll tell you. Hey, Eddie. And we'll tear into that in a minute. Hey, Nicole, how you doing? Good to see you. Don't forget at the 5 minute mark, this Streamlabs goes a little crazy. Just refresh your connection. Love your Vegas videos. Thank you, Marvin. I didn't do a ton of them this time. It was more R&R. Did I make any money? I made a very small amount of money. I was up 200 some dollars on day one, and I gave back everything except about $60 of that by the end, but you can't win them all, so a little bit's better than none. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Shimei. Gertie says, I was just thinking about you. Hey, Robin, Terry, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Well, thank you, Linda. You're so sweet. Hi, Ace, Grandpa Jay. How are you, sir? Good to see you. It was more on, I'm doing good, Nicole. It was more, thank you for asking. I was listening to you on Harvey's. How you doing, Four Scores? Good to see you, and don't forget in a couple minutes the stream will kind of stall. Just refresh your connection. It's something weird with Streamlabs. I've never quite figured out. Hello, Liz. Get the Shine Shack ready. RL is coming back. Well, that's what I heard today, huh? I talked to him on the phone today. Hi, Riza. Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you. And I didn't feel like, I feel like live streaming. Hey, Nature Woman. I feel like live streaming on Interstate 5 is one of the most boring things on planet Earth for content. And as a result of that, I'd rather listen to streams when I'm coming up the road. And I'm early this morning. I got on the road about, I want to say about 6:15, 6:20. I was gassed up. I cut a short morning video, got onto the road, and I started popping on Hangouts. Said, hi, watch. And I'm listening to CJ, Real Stream News, going down the road. And if your connection pops after 5 minutes, just refresh the connection, okay? It's a Streamlabs thing. You found the perfect RV. I felt today on ice. Oh no, sorry to hear that. I click on that and clicking in, and I hear Chris talking about, yeah, stuff is all good. You know, yeah, I'm going down to North Carolina there. I'm going to be leaving in a day or two and get back up to Pittsburgh. Now, let's be real. I don't stick my nose into other people's business. Okay, that's, any of you know that communicate with me. I'm not a person to dish the tea, so I never get any tea. You know the old expression, the buck stops here. Well, the tea stops. The tea stops here because I never, hey GTB, because I never have any tea to spill because people don't share tea with me because it's the end of the line. It's literally the last stop on the T line, and there's nothing to share with anybody. So I'm riding down the road up to, hey man, this is really good. You know, I'm going to be going back up to Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then I clicked back in about 2 hours later, and a new CJ comes up about Lisa Lynn, and I'm trying to figure out what is this? What's this about? And in the meantime, I was crossing into Bakersfield, and I got a call from Chris. It just shows you how the fortunes change so quickly. Yeah, tea stopping is offensive to British people. I hear you. Today was a Boyd day for sure. Drama free zone. I don't really do too much in here. It's not. I find drama is great for very short term. It's I kind of liken it to a blast of Coke. Not that I've been a Coke user, but you get that super high for a short period of time. But the lasting value of it is probably, I determined long ago, kind of detrimental for trying to grow something of value on YouTube. The reason being is because after a few days, nobody watches those. You know, they're like stale bread. They just kind of sit there and they have a very short half life. Whereas trying to produce kind of what I call more mainstream video content, it's a much slower growth, but it's stuff that will be pushed by YouTube for years to come, and it'll be searched, it'll be in recommended things. They don't put live streams into recommended YouTube videos because it lacks context. It doesn't have the context. It's not a They're usually not a beginning and end type of proposition. So therefore, they're not. You know, it's something that YouTube makes the money on super chats, and it's probably enough to pay for the storage of all these things. But in the long run, I don't think it's. You know, you still have to produce something at the end of the day. How you doing, Skylar? Drama too short. Cheryl was very excited about Rich's return. Well, I'm not sure what's going to be going on because I checked in later. And I did talk to, Chris had called me yesterday, and I didn't really get a chance to return the call yesterday. We were out and about with, meeting Cab TV and the crew down there and having a good time last night. So I wasn't really in a position to make that call last night. Then I dealt with some late night shenanigans, and I still haven't determined whether this guy on Fremont Street tried to swat the camera out of my hand or whether he was trying to get himself on camera. And because he was drunk, he started going backwards and kind of grabbed for me or something to hold on to. And he ended up going backwards about 30 feet, went over a railing, and really hit his head hard on the concrete on the side. So I don't know. I didn't really know what to make of that. So I did talk to him, and he indicated that kind of the party is over with Lisa, which is not my business. She's always been super kind to me, and I've gotten along well, real well with Lisa too. And I don't get involved with the HTS. How you doing? Do you get your? Yeah, I'm getting my second shot tomorrow. I'm going to get into that in a minute, Nicole. And I've appreciated your updates on your journey. I don't grill people about things. I don't get into the whys and wherefores of things because it's not my business, and I feel like it's kind of unseemly to it's not that I don't have interest. It's just that certain things I've never been comfortable over the years, and my moderators will tell you my communications are very short, sweet, kind of to the point, much to their chagrin, I think, for a lot of times. But I don't know exactly what's going to be coming up in that regard. Chris was an excellent guest here on the Rancho. He was very neat. He was very respectful when he was here, and I really didn't have any issues. And of course, I would welcome him back again here. But it seems, he'll play it by ear. He'll get down. I think he's going to try to meet up with Donnie down in Biloxi down there, and then take it from there and maybe go to Colorado or Oregon and Washington. Regardless, I've got to go on. Hello, G. OG Geezer wants to apologize to you. Oh, boy. Good thing we didn't get into the van last night. That might have been a trip to hell, right, to do that. So In that regard, your guess is as good as mine as to what the future holds. I don't build my life around other people. I prioritize. Frankly, I'm too damn busy. But let me take a minute since I see G here. I do want to thank Kevin, everybody last night for being so kind. Met some new people last evening. We had a blast down on Fremont Street and good company. It kind of fell apart a little bit at the end because within a larger group, there's small group dynamics. Certain groups were busting up, and people were disappearing, and it was kind of a chaotic scene. And I had to be on the road early today because I had something I needed to take care of at 5 p.m. today back here in town, which I was able to do and accomplish that. And that took a little while, so I couldn't really go live until now. The current channel, sorry for the way he spoke about you to Blackbird. Well, gee, you're just speaking to the wind because we don't know these people that you're talking about. So it's all lost on, if you're trying to pimp somebody else's channel out, I mean, that's fine. I don't have any issue with that. But let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. I'm not going to drive across town not knowing what time I'll be back, if I'll be able to get back, or whether I need to arrange an Uber or a taxi to get from the other side of Las Vegas back to downtown. So, yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you, Smelly Cat. This is a one piece. It's like a body stocking, and I like that. Hey, Mew, how are you? So I said my goodbyes and I had to take off last night. Then, of course, we had the incident with the camera. Thank goodness. I mean, my camera's got a really great case to it. The selfie stick came through it just fine. Found the piece for that. Put it back together. Didn't give that too much of a thought. Except I have noticed how you doing, everybody. If I've missed you on there. I have noticed the potential for violence or just people in your face has increased dramatically over the last year. And when I start to count it down, I went, virtually 7 years first starting out, as Nicole will attest to, walking down the street with a GoPro or whatever camera I'm using. And being on the streets 7 years ago and beginning my journey of pre-street streaming, before they were street streaming on YouTube and capturing daily life on walks and things like that, whether I'm having contemplative walks or whether it's something funny coming down or whether somebody wants to see my boobs hanging out of car, we always have a good time. And at no point in time did I ever feel that conditions were dangerous. All that began to change with the pandemic. And I've noticed now, and I've said this before, you walk across the street now with the light in a crosswalk, you take your life in your hands. Maybe people will stop, maybe they won't. You have a crossing across the street and the guy wants to make a right hand turn. You're damn lucky if he sees you in a crosswalk and allows you to get at least halfway over before he guns the engine and pops the clutch and squeals wheels because he hates your guts for impeding his right of way to go where he wants to go. And beginning last, I guess I was out by myself in Vegas. I guess it was July or August, and I had a really negative encounter back by the Hartwell house with that guy that snatched my camera, and thank God he didn't throw it. He kind of just dropped it through the fence. And, I had negative encounters in the art district, going back by the railroad tracks, and now another negative encounter last night. I'm telling you that people are being emboldened down there. Not just on Vegas, but in a lot of streets. And I was coming up the road today, and I was thinking to myself, is the risk starting to get too high walking around out there? In other words, are the streets now getting so wild and unpredictable, and people feeling like there's no pushback against anything that they do on the streets. I'm starting to really think about, as much as I've loved and I've built my YouTube channel really on a lot of street activities and street streaming. I found myself today wondering, as much as I'd love to go back to Oakland and as much as I enjoy that, I really have to be, for the first time in forever, I've had to have a little bit of fear about what may happen because people are emboldened. And I know I see Cheryl talking about drunk people in Vegas, but it's a phenomenon I've noticed here on the streets of Santa Rosa, not so much in Los Angeles because of the sheer numbers of people. But the potential for negative outcomes, in other words, I've had 3 incidents in 6 months where I didn't even have 3 incidents in 6.5 years. So it's something to think about out there. The dynamics of things are changing a lot. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this person here. The dynamics of it are changing a lot. So I have some things to think about. I love street content, so it's going to be very negative. It's going to be I don't think I'm going to go that direction of cutting it out, but I think I have to be more ready for response as opposed to assuming everything is good. Yeah, being more cautious, worried for a number of years. Yeah, well, I've seen it, Nicole. I have seen the complexion of the streets change a lot. And the pandemic, I've seen, as I've said before, I've seen that thin blue line of police become a lot thinner over the last year with this pandemic. Used to be up through March until they closed the hotels down. Las Vegas Metro was a huge presence on the street of downtown LA, to the point that if anybody sat down on the sidewalk, they would tell them, "Hey, look, we got a shelter bed available for you. If you don't take it, we're going to arrest you. Okay, so pack your gear and get moving. Here's the card with the address for the shelter." Soon as that pandemic hit, whoop, Metro Las Vegas. I can't speak much about the rest of Clark County, but Metro totally pulled back, and those streets went right back to what they were before there was a real action to clean that up. Now, part of that, of course, is compassion. Hey, it's a pandemic. Give people a break. Cops don't want to encounter people. And I remember how rough and tough. How you doing, Mouse Toes? I remember how rough and tough. And I'm sorry if I'm just kind of getting this off my chest. I know the side chat's moving there. They had that reputation at the beginning of pandemic as rough and tough, and they seemed to take pride that they didn't wear masks in the first went back in May. The low point, very few police officers wore masks and things. Thank God most of them they almost all wear a mask now. But now, unusually, you see a lot of marshals patrolling around now. Marshals are generally people that serve papers and warrants and things like that. So I don't really know what's going on, but I can tell you this. Going out Fremont Street now with the death of Tony Hsieh, the great well, basically a billionaire who bought all those hotel properties and unfortunately passed away in November. His estate, his family does not share the vision for Las Vegas. Why? Because they don't live in Las Vegas, right? They don't have the roots that Tony Hsieh has of coming there and starting that Zappos enterprise and eventually selling it to Amazon. I fear very much for all of the progress that was made in extending Fremont Street out to that east side, with all the hotel signs being put back up, the nice neon. Now I fear that place could really, really take a tumble, and it could really revert to what it used to be, which is a place where you didn't even dare walk out there anymore. Let's see. I gotta say, I'm about over being good and ready to toss the mask. I think we all are. Hey, Juju Bees. Hey, Sherry. If Monkey Boy and Mr. Z was it yours? Thank you, Tammy. The assault wouldn't have happened. Just the size, yeah. And well, I don't want to see anybody get hurt. And this guy got instant karma because I think you can see it in the video when I pick up the camera. This guy's laying on the overneath. You know, he flipped over a yellow railing that you use to access the backside of the elevator that goes up to take people to the zip line. And I think he really probably hurt himself. He'll probably be feeling it today. You need to do roller coaster ride cams for a while. I'm not going to get on that. How you doing, Dreamcatcher? I'm not going to be doing that. My shot tomorrow is around late morning tomorrow. So that's my thought on that. It's my thought. As you guys know, I'm very perceptive of the streets in a very large crime-ridden city of Baltimore. I'm very used to the interplay of, by American standards, pretty large cities. And I'm very, very sensitive when it comes to changes that occur on the streets. And I've been pretty much spot on with this pandemic and talking about everything from people dropping mufflers and just going hog wild out there on the streets. Because why? Because the police don't really want to encounter people unless it's a really bad situation. I also had a negative encounter, which was a little more of the normal kind with the gal that went all in on my breast. This is the other night at the fire scene. People feel very empowered to be a boss on the streets now, and that's kind of a bit of a worrisome sign. And I've had a lot of people ask me, "Well, Rosie, shift your game over to being a First Amendment auditor," and it that doesn't fit my personality. What is that? And I like SGTV. I watched them. He was a big help in boosting my channel last year when I had the Petaluma march that I got involved in there, and I had people shining flashlights in my face and opening umbrellas in front of me, and it caught his eye. But these guys go around to like post offices, they go around to state and federal offices, and just walk in with cameras and things like that and stand around the post office till the postmaster calls the cops. And it's not really I'm not designed to be that. I believe give people a break and things like that, but they do. Yeah, East Coast tough. There you go, Tess. So only recently have things gotten a little woolly out there, and I'm not really cut out to be a First Amendment auditor. I can't live, and I've had a lot of encouragement, SGTV and some other people. Oh, that'd be perfect, and all that. But you got to have the temperament for that, and you've got to have the bit in your mouth. What do I mean by that? SGTV was born of a situation of this guy with some police brutality and some really negative encounters. So he set as his goal to help police define what they're allowed to do on public property and what they're not allowed to do. So they'll often go up to companies, they'll stand on the public sidewalk outside, direct the cameras to the company, the parking lots, whatever, till somebody comes out and encounters, hey, what are you doing? What's it your business what we're doing? Well, why are you filming our property? What do you care? Go back inside, right? And the person gets steamed up. They call the police come, and of course the person that came out that didn't like being filmed, it leaves a real bad taste in their mouth because they're left to feel kind of foolish and sheepish, because if you're standing on the public sidewalk, it's okay. But I'm not really cut out. Yeah, thank you, Liz. Haven't seen anybody hang in Naked City. Well, I had backup with Mr. Z. That's why I really don't do the First Amendment auditing thing, because I don't have that stick in my craw that makes me want to go out and just have those kind of encounters. And let me tell you, sometimes you see, people don't know. People think they're within their rights to come off of their property onto that public sidewalk and basically heave off and give you a roundhouse and knock you out. Okay, now they violated the law with assault. You didn't violate the law, but people assume that it's illegal to point a camera into properties from public places, and of course it's not. So these guys go into post offices, they go into all different kind of places, and they trigger those responses because to them they think that they're retraining people's thinking about what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. How you doing, Justin? Good to see you. Yeah, we have a right to be us, and some people want to draw that line, and some people want to draw it continuously. So I do subscribe to the channel. I do watch it. But do I have the temperament or the predisposition or the chip on my shoulder? And I mean, that's probably not the right term to go out there and want to do that, where every day is going to result in a negative encounter. No, no. I think most people just want to be left alone and go about their business. To me, it also kind of ties up police resources too when they got to come out and deal with that kind of thing. But it is what it is. Now, if I do anything, I always ask if I'm okay recording just a decency. Well, I always tell, if I'm around some very public venues, although Fremont Street Experience is a cooperative, limited license corporation amongst the hotel casinos that populate Fremont Street down there. That's the place with the big overhead canopy. It's kind of considered a public place. And years ago, I had negative encounters where I would be doing a morning upload or something with a tripod standing there, and I had to, oh, you can't film in here. They're a lot more easygoing about that now, but it's such the crowd lasts. Nobody really cares generally because there's of the maybe 1,500 people, maybe 800 to 1,500 people in that venue last night. At least 150 of them have their cell phones gone at any one time. Okay, so it's not generally going to be a big issue. Okay, so yeah, you're rarely going to have those negative. Rarely going to have those negative encounters. Yeah, I don't want a roundhouse. They do it at police station, courthouses. They do all that First Amendment auditing outside of companies, go into post offices. To me, my discomfort level would be off the chart. I go into the lobby of the post office. I just have a guy with me, an assistant that has a big Canon camera with a big ass lens on a monopod, and then the other guy's doing the talking and has his cell phone camera, whatever, recording. And you just know the customers are going to start being irate. And I've seen this a few times with them, and they start losing their, why are you filming me, blah, 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 and then they'll turn the cameras. They'll open up their own cell phone cameras and start to record the guys that are recording. And before you know it, the clerk says, call the cops come, and then uh, I don't really know. I mean, it does audit the First Amendment, but it's a risky proposition. I'll tell you that. There were so many people last night. Well, I guarantee you, tonight's a ghost town down there. Fremont was a fun place. It still is a fun place. I came here when I was a kid. I've talked about that before, but the 21 years that I have been coming since then, nobody ventured off of, beyond the end of the canopy there. Okay, nobody went out on the East Fremont Street because it was badlands out there where all the depleted and blown out motels are located. Nobody ventured out there. It was too dangerous. Then we had a big improvement when Tony Hsieh came in, the founder of Zappos. Took a lot of that money from Amazon, bought dozens and dozens of those properties with some type of commitment to remake downtown. And I praised the glories of it for a long time, day in, every time I visited. It's getting better and better. And now I kind of sense that things are maybe moving to a, to some type of backslide. I fear some type of backslide. Looks like anymore. We've been in lockdown that long. Yeah, what do we? I don't know what I don't know what this G just seems to be fascinated by pimping out somebody else's channel. I don't know. We get it. Okay, we get it. We get it. You love the channel. Okay, check it out. Yeah, I didn't meet OG Geezer last night, right? I didn't meet Robert Mack in Asia either, and I wanted to meet him. Hi D, how you doing? That was bad for years out at that end. And we first started venturing out there, and it was kind of cool. We'd have the pop-up parties and do the other things out there. Now, you gotta kind of think twice. East Fremont has great restaurants and bars. Rest in peace, Tony. There's something to that, Tony. Now, that demographic, like I talked about too in my video yesterday, the biggest problem now in Las Vegas, of course, is quality. But you really need to bring those high enders back because there just doesn't seem to be really the money to be made at this point in time. And it's really starting to, hey, Liberty, long time. Starting to really, I think, take its toll. Hey, Sharon, thank you. Quantum, thank you. Enough of that. The ride from hell today. No kidding. I've been driving a lot of years and I have battled pretty bad wind conditions. You guys have seen me go through blizzards, bringing Missy Jen to the Rancho April 1st of 2014, where we were slip sliding and going crazy all over the place. You saw D and I were moving through towards Cheyenne, Wyoming. We got caught in the most horrendous combination of just hail and rapidly dropping thunder, lightning, and just rain in volumes I've never seen in my life. To the point I almost said, we're going to have to bail out. If I stall out, if I skid, we're going to get killed out here because of tractor trailer. These guys don't care. They're still doing 80 on 80. And I said, if we skid, and my thing on the dashboard with the skid symbols lighting up, slippery road, and I'm hydroplaning. I thought if we go in a skid, we're going to have to bail. We're going to have to jump out of the vehicle and just let the little rascal be a hood ornament for a damn Peterbilt truck or something like that. That's the way that is going to go down. But I've never really battled wind conditions like I did going out to Las Vegas this time and coming back. Now, February, March is a transitional period where you start to get the desert heating up a little bit. You start to build the thermals and you get those high winds. But I don't think I've ever seen a truck just flipped over totally on its side, tits up, blocking all lanes of traffic. That's how bad it was out there today. And that slowed me down. Slowed me down for about, hey Moxie, good to see you. That slowed me down for a while out there today and resulted in me not really getting back till about 4 o'clock. So it was a very tough journey. How you doing, Darlene? It was a ride from hell today. This van is just, hi Teresa, this van is just too damn light for, it's not made, and I'm finding this out. I've enjoyed having it. I bought it in 2017. I've had it for over 3 years. It's paid off. But I've noticed this van is not built for really for highway travel. And I say that because it's a utility van, which means it's usually used by one or two electricians on small jobs, plumbers, tradesmen, and it's usually for city use or just small forays, not too great distance, but it's not really made for long haul travel because it's just too damn light. Vegas winds are bad until the weather gets warm here. Yeah, and I can tell that things are starting to heat up a little bit and get a little wild. Hey, Maine girl, how are you? I can tell that things are kind of popping. a little bit. So we'll see. Hey Toodles, how are you? Um, so if you saw the short video today, then I go about another 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet. Now, meanwhile, the dust is raging, right, in waves across the road there. And there's another semi half in the slow lane, half in the lane, and half on the side of the road. I don't know whether he just died there, but my God, I mean, it's going to be a miracle because people, as soon as they cleared that one early scene with the truck that was tits up, they're hitting the gas and trying to get back to 80, 90. And I fear somebody would have slammed in the back. So I don't know what it was, whether it was a full moon out. Hi, Susan. How are you? Hey, Doris. I don't know whether it was a full moon coming or just one crazy ass day on the highway. But all lanes were blocked with that truck over. And we're going off into the median, and meanwhile, people behind me are starting to cowboy, and you see them in the rearview mirror. They're running right up the middle of the. It almost looked like a Oklahoma land rush developing for people to try to pass people in the median and get up. Like, oh my God, crazy. Ford Transit vans are good. Yeah, I really kind of got my heart set on a conversion van. I think that's going to be my van of choice. But the ProMaster is great for, and Missy Jen and I went all over the country really with that incident. I've never had, knock on wood, any kind of real accident in it, but I don't encounter winds. This is the windy time of year, February into March, so it could be highly dangerous. It was the wind that knocked him over. Empty load, one of those farm trucks that had probably dumped a load of onions or something like that, and was coming back and just, I told you guys when I was going out to Vegas that on the way out, the semis were just snaking back and forth, trying to keep from jackknifing and they had all the warning signs were flashing on the overhead annunciator boards, warning people of gusty conditions, RVs, campers, and all that kind of thing. People in Virginia don't even pay their driving. I don't know where they are, but they like to drive you off the road, and then they wait. God, saw the video. Reminded me of a Toyota 4Runner back in the day with such a high-profile death trap driving on our interstate, but it's foolish. But yeah, it's scary. I can't. Class B RV prices are high right now with Nomad Life exploding. I'm not a trend chaser. As soon as the night follows day, there will be a reversal of those fortunes coming up. Okay? And there will be a glut of those vehicles around. It may be driven by fuel prices. Okay, there is an inflationary creep beginning. Interest rates are starting to rise. Okay, and once enough people, big money, perceives that the rates are rising, they're gonna get the bit in their mouth and they're gonna fly those rates up real fast, real furious, and that could put a dent in a lot of things here. Okay, look at grain prices, look at soybean prices, look at a lot of commodity prices. They're zooming right now. Okay, all this funny money is finally working its way through the system. That's why they stay in the road. Well, you're smart. Stay off. Watch full-time Van Dweller YouTube channels, especially with COVID lockdowns. Is that true for all new cars? Is what true, Moxie? Is what true? I'm not sure. I got my heart set on that Chrysler 300 jet black with the custom Black Widow spider paint job. And I'm off to Oakland. Yeah, woo! Put some orange lights underneath, flip them on at night. Can you imagine that? The Black Widow rolling down the road. Wouldn't that be cool? Styling and profiling in that beautiful black sedan out there. That would be awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Good to see you. You need a truck camper. Yeah, truck campers are good. The only problem I have with truck campers, Joni, is that step down at the back. Okay, you're a spring chicken compared to me. You get to my age with the wear and tear I've had for physical labor over the years, and yeah, it's tough to get out of those. I don't like the high steps of the truck campers, but I like the job that you're doing with yours there, Johnny. Get a new Chevy 250, yeah, for 35K. I can't afford that, Johnny. It's not in the cards. I would love to. You know, the van is paid off, but you know, I do have a whopping big health insurance bill, and this is not a cry for money or so, oh, dry big. No, I'm not asking for jack. I'm just stating the realities of things. I'd love to have a really nice Pleasureway, right? A really nice Super B, but it ain't gonna happen. You can sit there and drool and dream and you know, have flights of fancy. Oh, what would I do with it here? But it ain't gonna happen. Okay, especially now with the demand, there's flooded. You know, so many people have those vehicles now. Yeah, conversion van with some mods is great. Heavier vehicle, better road grabbing ability, much better insulation. Okay, more spacious inside. My thing's really too small to build out. Something you could have a little water inside, a little heat inside, do a little hot water, have yourself a comfortable bed. Yeah, like that. That's my idea. My sister wants us to get one of those huge trucks with all wheel and power. I'll have to butch up and get me one of those wallets with the chain. They call that the biker's wallet, right? With the chain on it. Yeah, yeah. I gotta live. We gotta live within our means. I don't believe in just buying something just so that you know, because I can afford whatever the payment would be and all that kind of thing. I like to get a bargain. I like to get something that I can fix up myself and put that on the road. I don't like what I recently bought, so I'm looking for another 3-year-old. It's the first time I kind of. Well, what did you buy, Moxie? What did you buy? Hey, Ace, how are you? Worst part. Those four wheelers go way too fast and all. Thank God you returned. I hope to say, yeah, thank you, Sharon. It was a rough day out there. No, I don't want a van, boss. I don't want a VW van. Okay, I never really liked them at the time that they came out. My mother had a '66 VW Bug. She loved it. She could park it anywhere. But for me, I never was a lover of Vanagons and the VW vans. I'm sorry, it's just me. I don't like the sound of the engine. It sounded like it had crickets in the muffler. They're underpowered, you know, with the H flat H engines in them. Not my thing. Okay, not my thing at all. Yeah, message me. Yeah, message me. Oh, well, thank you, Bad Sport. Wasn't feeling real beautiful today, but we'll make do. But I don't want to get too far down. That's a topic for another thing. So I'm not, if things change, no trend, trees don't grow to the sky. The demand for RVs is not infinite. In 1972, 73, Winnebago went through the roof in the stock market, okay? And then what happened? Fuel prices went up, the energy crisis. Man, you couldn't give an RV away. All right? Everybody looks at the trend now and they think that will continue indefinitely in the future. It does not do so. Okay, things change on a macro level. And, you know, if our dollar is cheapening, which it is because we've increased the money supply, almost doubled it over the last, you know, 2 or 3 years, that funny money's got to shake out somewhere, and commodity prices reflect reality, right? Grain prices and other things out there. So I'm just saying, you like that tight? Yeah, I like these. They're very figure flattering. I like that. I made several requests for a selfie stick. Don't say that to Nicole. I almost lost my selfie stick last night. right? Occupational hazard when you're a street streamer, right? I mean, it's a bad thing. Justin said you're absolutely right. Who can't afford electric vehicle and then have it plugged into your house? Exactly. There's upside. Thank you, Genome. There's upside. Thank you, Vern. There's upsides and downsides to everything. Electric vehicles are practical for they're great for in town use. I don't know, but I haven't really studied electric vehicles that much. But of course, I would like a nice camper van. But the climate will change, and there will be. We might talk about it a year from now, maybe a year and a half from now, where I believe that RVs will be parked by the sides of the road with for sale signs on them because people can't afford the operating expenses anymore on that. Just a guess. I could be wrong. I have been wrong before. The Scooby Doo Mystery Machine, exactly. Well, Charlotte, stuff happens. That's what I was talking about at the beginning, honey. It's a different world out there on the streets, and it's an evolving world. Vegas has truly become Los Angeles, and not the most savory part of Los Angeles on the weekend. Now, imagine you take people in LA that are compressed in Santa Ana and Newark and all these places going up to I-5 on the Santa Ana freeway. The Comptons, the Bell Gardens, there's etc. And they get a chance to get a cheap room. They throw 5 people into the Chrysler 300 and they jet off to Vegas. You know they're going to be blowing off steam. Okay? They're going to be cutting loose. All right? And that's just a fact because they're kind of compressed in the hood, right? Hood rats keep other hood rats in check. Man, you get people out to Vegas and it's a totally different story. That crowd is so different than in March of 2020. It's like night and day. Almost all civility has been lost on a place like that Fremont Street experience on Friday and Saturday night. I can tell you that. Hey, sugar babe, good to think ahead. You got to think ahead. You got to think ahead. Absolutely. Sugar, love you, honey. Say hi, give Pop a big hug for me, as usual. Hey, Red Roadrunner, how you doing? So we'll see how it all shakes out. We will see how it all shakes out. But I have a feeling when demand anything you can think of in history that demand is sky high for at the moment, whether it's timeshares, whether it's cruises, whether it's uh, giant SUVs like we had in the 90s and things, big gas guzzling RVs in the 70s. There's something that always comes along that just cuts that cuts the nuts right off of that trend. So we'll just have to see what it is. Love you, sugar. Since the prices of rooms and flights in Vegas have plummeted, the crowd has changed. I see it every day, Justin. I've been talking about that since May. March we were there. It was like happy, man. It was like peak. Boom. Everybody's having a good time. May, of course, nobody was around. I got some great video of Vegas virtually dead. Okay, really spooky, very scary. I come back in July, it's like, whoa. It's like, what the hell happened? Well, what happened is they're blasting cheap rates down to LA on radio and TV and sending out mailers to everybody. The win goes from $239 a night to $113 a night. All of a sudden, the win wonders, why are we having fights in our lobby and melees and things like that? Well, you know, look at the crowd that you're bringing in, the bargain crowd, and it's going to take a while to reverse that. I guarantee you, it's like a chicken and an egg thing. It really is. Yeah, prices are increasing food wise. Quality is going down. Boston pizza, the California Market Cafe. I mean, so many places. Thank you, American Dream 6.2, $2 through Super Chat. Thank you, my friend. Okay, thank you, High Watch. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't have the sound thing on here. Thank you for that, American Dream 6.2. And thank you for being a part of the channel. But I don't want to over dwell on that because I've been wrong before, but it's interesting. We're coming up on 1 year since I did that first video in March about batten down the hatches. There's a storm coming on the horizon. I don't know how you guys feel. I was serious about that Black Lincoln that I want. Yeah, that's cool. Had a pizza. It was horrible. I had oatmeal 3 days in a row. The last day she brought the oatmeal out, it was big lumps and it wasn't even hot. Somebody forgot to put yesterday's oatmeal at least put it in the microwave, cut it with a little bit of cream and loosen it up a little bit. I could not believe it. Okay. Mr. Z and I had a burger last night at Siegel's 1941 at the El Cortez. It was almost like a hockey puck. Okay, I didn't. You guys would have scorched me for my food reviews. All right. And that Boston pizza was like a Chef Boyardee. I think a Chef Boyardee pizza probably would have tasted better than that Boston pizza due to the lack of a decent red sauce, which is the backbone. Yeah, we don't have an Aldi. Just want to know what you do for a living. I retired from Hallmark Cards after 35 years. I just work part-time as a 1099 contract employee. That's all I do. I just push papers around. Aldi's is pretty decent. Yeah, Sean, how you doing? Ebony and yeah, fuel is up. Yeah, fuel. It was gross. It was gross. How you doing, Simon? Good to see you. Uh, I hadn't really had like think about the irony of this. In March, I'm in Vegas, March of 2020, and we get to notice that everybody has to check out of their hotel by noon tomorrow, by 3 p.m. tomorrow, whatever. Everybody's giddy with excitement. Oh man, this is really cool, right? Shelter in place, 30-day holiday or whatever. And, I got out of town the next day or whatever, driving back. I go back in May and we scrambled to find food. Okay, it was really hard to feed ourselves in May and July. But the quality, if you could find it, the quality of food was good. Why? Because the people that had been working in those restaurants before the pandemic began were on the Paycheck Protection Program. They were still hanging around the restaurants. They're still working in the kitchens, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Food price inflation hadn't been quite so severe. So the quality, if you could find it, and I remember you remember I complained about being able to find something to eat. It was really weird in May, and then when I went back in July, besides roasting, you could hardly get a good meal down there. I mean, you could get a good meal if you could find it, but the quality was good. Now, as they're opening up, the Paycheck Protection Program was long over, and I think a lot of people blew town, and they're just trying to make do right now. That food gave me the trots. I will be interested. I have Cheryl, my wonderful moderator, who I love to pieces here in the side chat. She's a Canadian. She's been locked down for over a year. I think she's probably not gone longer away from her house and maybe a couple miles. I don't even know about that, right? Because she's taken the shelter in place seriously. She's not been to Vegas since 2019, I want to venture to say. I will be really interested in two things. When travel restrictions are lifted between the United States and Canada, I want to see when Cheryl goes to Vegas, and I really want to get her trip report when that is over. Okay, I'd really like to get her take on because she's not seen these changes that I've seen over the last year. These remarkable changes, these sticks in the sand, I call them, these stakes in the sand to take the reading of Las Vegas. Busted a move in my best friend's living room. Hey Emerald, oh, good to see you. Hey Babu, how are you? Michelle, good to see you. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. I want to see what her take on it is be because I have a feeling. Um, I don't think Vegas is going to get its act together this year. Okay, I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to get out of the bowl of low room rates. And low room rates mean keeping away the high enders, the high rollers, okay? Because they, no way, no how, no shape or form. You guys tell me honestly, you really want to tell me that the high rollers and the dandy dons and the beautiful gals that were down there in March of 2020, you telling me they want to get into that melee last night with that? No way. There ain't no way. Not more than 5 miles away. Used to be a caregiver, just said, Mom, working on my crochet. Oh, okay. Well, good, Sexy Slimmer. Good to see you. It's going to take a while to recover. Cheryl has faith that once flights from other countries are restored, it will rebound. It depends what the press is, Cheryl. It depends. It depends. It really depends. Winter time, there's a tamping down of hotheads and street melees. But as we get into the warm weather, if we continue with these room rates, you'll see people busting a move in a negative way out there. Some real hell raisers. Half athlete needs a deep fruit. Yeah, well, I think that's a good thing. Israel do amazing from what I read earlier. Yeah, they're very well organized. Sandy, there'll be people that are wearing masks the rest of their lives, okay? I mean, remember, I came out of China, Hong Kong, where it was not unusual to see a lot of people on the streets. You see them on the streets of Tokyo wearing masks and things. They believe it protects their respiratory health. It's just a way of life. You just see it, okay? For us, it's a very unusual thing. Feel pretty. True gamblers will always return. I'm not sure. They've had a year to retool their gambling addiction. You know what I'm saying? They've, in economics, we call that the substitution theory. If you can't get what you really want, you experiment with substitutes. And sometimes you find that the substitutes kind of cure your craving a little bit, okay? And, in the meantime, a lot of the world has moved on. Macau, other big places in China that tamped down the pandemic early on. It's really been business as usual. Yeah, Keezy said we have our borders closed most of the time, and I'm happy about it. Good night, Moxie. Take care, sweetie. Good to see you. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Japan and China have been doing it for decades. I mean, I'm used to seeing it. I never wore one, but that was to keep out the heavy particulate matter from diesel and other fuel. My American friends are still going to gamble even now. Well, okay. Well, I'll hold my fire, Cheryl. We'll get your take on it. But I noticed in the pandemic, when I was walking down by the Cosmo and those drunk people, and Mr. Z and I had a negative encounter with those idiots. Uh, we'll wait and see. We shall see. We play the Baltimore song. Not right. I don't even have that queued up right now. I might do that tomorrow. I don't know what time I'll be doing an upload tomorrow. I got my JBL speakers here that I was fortunate enough to score out of a thrift shop, believe it or not. James B. Lansing, legendary name in speakers, made in Los Angeles in the 1960s. They need to be reconed, refoamed. Those kits finally came in. So I want to be able to put a video together on, because the foam surrounds have cracked. They're just too old, so I have some new ones, so they'll be doing that. Yeah, wear a mask during flu season. On the Yeah, the casinos everywhere in Maryland. Yeah, within a 45 mile. I mean, down at Laurel, all those kind of all those kind of places. Tomorrow subject. They're very nice speakers. They're not the best. They're just Lancers. They're not top of the line. They're low end, but for the ridiculous price I got for these and the beautiful finish on the cabinets and the great grill faces, it's going to be really nice to get them fixed. It'll be the next project in the workshop. Tomorrow, second dose of the Moderna vaccine. They say that the first dose is the training wheels and the second dose is the big blast. So I'll be getting triple the amount that I got the first time. I didn't have a reaction other than a sore arm. I don't. So I'm kind of thinking that I'm probably going to be okay on that tomorrow. So this will complete my vaccination process. I will have my vaccine passport will be filled in. I still say, well, let me take first things first. I don't want to get too far ahead, because yes, I will be doing some more traveling. So that's going to be tomorrow. I'll probably keep things a little low just to see how I come out of that overnight or whatever. Our weather's supposed to be in the mid 70s here. Oof. May actually be able to get a little sunshine, pop a bikini on, get a few rays that are good for mental health and everything else, and then do a little bit of shop. Hey Brian, how are you? Yeah, thank you, Nicole. I have a feeling, because the first dose was non-reactive, that I believe that I'll probably be pretty good for the second dose. I've never in my life had a negative reaction to any vaccine. And anything that I could ever get through life, I've always gotten. Right up to pneumonia vaccine and tetanus to TD vaccines and all that, keeping that current. I want to have the shingles vaccine, all of those types of vaccines. So I will probably give you a report. Yesterday, I'm not going to do, just do a sit down here and tell you guys how that went. We begin 65 and older begins this week too, so there's going to be much more of a crush of people to be organized and to get into these facilities to get their vaccinations. What was the good news? Cheryl and Charlotte. Yeah, Cheryl and these guys do good. These guys are big. Cheryl, Charlotte's sister, they're big timers. Big timers. Charlotte is, she makes me look like a small timer. Watch out for the microchip. God darn. I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to say anything. Okay? I'm not going to say anything. Now, after tomorrow, meanwhile, while I've been in Las Vegas gallivanting around and having a good time, pretty much except for the food was shitty. Work has continued on the Boss and Janet, their home makeover. They have now had the whole inside of the house primed and painted. It looks great. I've seen the pictures of it. They've also had the tile work set down, new tile put in the front entrance hallway there. Going to be new tile in the, like in the den area there where the TV area is, and new tile in the kitchen too. So it's going to be a whole new world when I get down there. And I'm not sure if I'll be needed Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll probably be spending, we got to do the steps too. That's going to be a barn burner. We have to, I think I'm going to commit to about 5 days, 4 or 5 days down there, and help them do that job. Now, I think that really balances off with the Boss and Janet, the nice things that they've done for me. And I'm happy to do that. I've enjoyed working with the Boss. When he's not yelling or blowing an air horn behind my head and stuff, he's a pretty cool guy to work with. But at the end of our last sessions, fatigue was setting in. I was in a ridiculous amount of pain when I went to, to Vegas, and the neuropathy and my hands were swollen. But think I've recovered that in a lot of good shape right now. So I'm ready for part two of that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Congratulations, Charla. That's great. Yeah. Restore bet declines in rates in India. I don't know, Andrew. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we're all family in here. Once I finish that, I was talking to Kev. What I really want to do is go to Honolulu. Okay, I really want to go to Hawaii, and maybe crossing my fingers with the vaccine passport, I might be able to pull that off. As it stands now, I don't know whether it's 10 days or 14 days you have to quarantine. Ain't nobody gonna, I'm not spending, $100 a day to sit with my thumb up my butt watching the Phil Donahue show on TV or whatever. I don't know who in hell, Dr. Phil or whatever. So keep your fingers crossed. In the interim, when that project's over, I'm going to be rolling down to LA's finally fully open for outdoor dining. I'm going to spend a few days down there. Kev and I were talking. We would like to go over to TJ, over to Tijuana, do a little video recording over there. And then maybe a little later in March to be able to, he wants to go down to Acapulco. Now, Mexico is divided into levels of threat. Okay, level one is suitable for everybody. Level two is like Tijuana. Just watch your pocketbook. Watch out for pickpockets. You'll probably be okay. Level three was when Elvis Travels and I were in Sinaloa in San Luis. That's a level three area, which means it's not really recommended to travel. Acapulco, bing, is a level four. Okay, so, uh, you know, uh, my worst fear is to be thrown into the back of a van and, off into sex slavery somewhere down in Mexico. Hey, Rhonda. So we'll see. Got big fines recently for not. Yeah, you got to adhere to the quarantines. Hey, Coach. Hi, Lolly. How you doing? I'm doing good. So that's the three travels coming up, and then I'm not sure what Chris is going to do, what his situation is going to be. I know he indicated that he would like to come back to California, which will be fine by me. But I'm going to prioritize my travel before it gets too hot, and then be traveling more extensively through the spring and the summer, because I don't really mind hot weather travel as much as I can't do cold weather travel, but I can do hot. Good to see you, Coach. I hope that you are well. So that's what's coming up. That's what's going to be coming up this week. It looks like the pandemic numbers are winding down now. What I fear now is people will start to drop their guard and be a little less precaution, which might allow one of these variants to take, one of these mutations to take hold. I hope that that doesn't happen. I just have a feeling, a gut feeling tells me that this pandemic's going to have a few more twists and turns in it before it's finally played out with really herd immunity. In my opinion, what are they going to be? I don't know what the twists and turns are going to be. I'm just not sure. But I just have some feeling in my gut that the more days go by before we've achieved herd immunity, the virus is out there mutating on a daily, weekly basis, and it only takes one. Most mutations don't go from to worse. They generally will become less infectious. At least that's what the epidemiologists tell us. But once in a while, you get that wild ass mutation that can be a real barn burner, and that's what I want to protect my. Yeah, the numbers are dropping rapidly. Hey, camp goer, how are you? Good to see you. And we've been here before. The last time restrictions began to open and people started to come out of their shell in California, bam, in some other areas of the country, boom, right down into stay at home orders and things like that. So if this only manages to go about a year, maybe with modern medicine and epidemiology and virology, it may just be a 1 year phenomenon. Who knows? But remember, we tend to think of ourselves, we tend to be very, as most of us on the YouTube platform on my channel tend to be concentrated in the United States. We don't tend to think globally about the rest of the world. We don't think of globally about the rest of the world, the overwhelming of number of which can't possibly hope to get a vaccine before the end of 2021. That becomes the breeding ground for mutations and other things. And we just can't think within our borders. We have to be protective, as Canada has shown to be very protective about international travel and things like that. So don't make the mistake think because numbers are dropping here that there's not other activity occurring in, well, say Burma or Laos or Bulgaria or Istanbul, or pick a place, Turkmenistan, Armenia, right? There's a lot of other places in the world. Thank you, American Dream. Let's see if we get a little music. I enjoyed the Las Vegas streams. Thank you, my friend. Let's see if this binger banger boinger will go off. Thank you very much, American Dream, for the support. I appreciate it. Woo! We haven't heard that in a while. Time for my revenge. Yeah, we got to bring back Space Girl. Thank you very much, American Dream. I wonder how long antibodies will last. Well, it's a race. If you could vaccinate everybody in 1 month, you'd bring the pandemic to a virtual halt. But because we're vaccinating along a incline path of percentage of people vaccinated over time, the unvaccinated are still the laboratory where mutations are still occurring on the daily. So let's be careful. Hey, Mark Terry, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you again, American Dream. Rich has a house. Just don't understand why you don't live there. Jay Smith, Rich is like me. We want to be on the road. I'd love to be on the road. It's just, I didn't see the pandemic coming, right? And we weren't around in 1918, 1917, 1918, 1919. We didn't know, and of course there was no media coverage then because of World War I and the Alien Sedition Act, that you couldn't publish anything that could be negative to the war effort. President Wilson, as I said before, never once mentioned the pandemic publicly. Okay, never once, despite the fact that 500,000 Americans died then or whatever in those 50 million around the world or whatever. We don't really know, but that pandemic came along and really clipped the legs out from under me. And I really expected to be doing a lot more travel. And I felt safe in the California and Nevada bubble. Okay, I felt very safe in this particular area. Maybe Rich go back to his mom's house. I can help her by taking out her trash. I don't know. I just, family business, I just stay clear of. I don't get involved in, hey Star Wars, I don't get involved in family business. The only thing I'm concerned is if somebody's here, do I get treated well? Do I treat them well? That's the only thing that I can control. We had a lot of good times. We had a lot of laughs. He was, compared to another guest I had, he was an excellent guest here on the Rancho. He pitched in and did whatever he could willingly and happily to help, and was a big help to me at that time. Why wouldn't you welcome back somebody? I don't let other people make decisions about my life. Well, thank you, Johns. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I think we all have a right to make our own decisions and our own opinions. And I've just, and I'm not going to be much longer, but I did want to address just at the end. I don't put it in my titles because it's not my show. It's not really my community. But I've had a lot of people pressing me about have I changed my opinions about what's been going on with St. Jude and the situation over there. And I'm not blind to the number of hangouts, the number of people that are engaged in discussing that topic. And I was asked, I've spoke on it just as small segments within, chain of trust and a few other things, but to me, it's not seemly to use that as, in my opinion, to go to war and to talk about it because it's not. I've donated before several times through Ladies' Night to St. Jude. But I will say this, and it probably aggravates some people, and it probably makes a few people mad. But maybe people can see my point. Many times, this whole situation is like a train moving between point A and point B. We know what point A was, the start of raising monies for St. Jude. We know that the train is in motion now, but we have no idea what point destination B will be. Why? Because I compare it to a game of playing Texas Hold'em. When you play Texas Hold'em with 4, 5, 6 people around a table, they deal each person 2 cards. They're your down cards. Then then you make bets on those 2 cards that you have. Then they deal what's called the flop. They dish 3 cards out. They're community cards that everybody shares in those 3 cards. You look at your hand, you look at your community card. Maybe you want cards. Maybe you want to make the next bet. Maybe you like what you have. Maybe you don't. You don't chase it. You just throw it away. Okay. But many fortunes change because there's still 2 more cards to come. There's the turn card, which is the next card that's turned that everybody shares in. And then there's that one last card. They call that the river card. And I have seen more poker hands busted, people crying, weeping like babies, people jumping up and down with joy at the turning of that last card. That last card on this situation with St. Jude will be point B. And because, I haven't verbalized or spoken anything about it, people have wondered where do I stand on. I mean, I've spoken not, for a few weeks now on it, but I am the kind of person that's infinitely patient. And I'm the person that'll wait a long time, as long as I feel fairly sure that all the cards will be dished out at the end. So at this point in time, I have really nothing else to offer on my thoughts of that because that train has not pulled into point B yet. And I want to see that train pull into point B before I make any kind of, have any more personal thoughts on that. Not trying to shy away from it, but you don't need my voice in there adding to the din and the noise of what's going on. I just haven't really felt that it is appropriate. The turn in the river card, that's right. And I've seen a lot of shattering river cards, Mark Terry, what we used to call Fifth Street, right? So, tip their hand. So that's what I want to say. But a tipped hand can hold a lot of surprises too. Okay? Tipped hand can hold a lot of surprises. I've seen people do some wild shit at poker tables where they wanted people to get a look at their cards. So they'll accidentally pretend like they flipped one over. I've seen a lot of crap in tournament poker and things like that. I know, Mark Terry, you know what I'm talking about. Because Mark Terry, you know you can play any two cards. It doesn't matter. You can play a 7-2, the worst starting hand of all. Because at the end of the day, you're not playing the cards, you're playing the people at the table. Right? So, smart poker players, smart people in life, I think, resist running to judgments until all the cards are out and all the cards are on the table, no matter how long it takes. Okay, that way you can never really uh, second guess yourself about the way you think about things at that point of time. There are cards missing from the deck. Maybe, maybe, maybe. I don't know what's going to come, but I can tell you what, Glitter. I'm neither for nor against, but I am not unsupportive of people until such time as it, verifiable and proof comes out that my faith should not be there. So that's all I'm saying. There's no downside to that. It keeps my lips zipped, and it keeps me in check too, and it keeps me from jumping aboard the train because, quite honestly, I've enjoyed privately being a supporter of St. Jude, and I've enjoyed the times that I've donated through Ladies' Night and things like that. So let's just wait and see. Is my take, just my personal one. Other people are much more on the ride, and I get it. I fully understand. No worries, no problems, no hate at all. See. Yeah, I'm not sure, Lydia. Lolly's always been super friendly to, we've always gotten along great. Like I say, Lydia, most times if I'm being treated well, I treat somebody else well. I don't really look behind the scenes. I'm not looking avidly for a girlfriend or anything like that. So I don't generally get caught up too much in about who puts what images or whatever on YouTube. But to each his or her own. I get it. I understand. No worries. So I'm not. Yeah, I just wanted to say that's because people have been asking me where you did some commentary before, and I still basically remain at the same place. I just want to see all the cards on the table, and I think that's just it takes some time, but that's it. Yeah, Lydia, I just don't really care too much about avatars, and as long as I'm entertained kind of on YouTube and nobody's really getting slammed, I'm pretty cool with it. So personal B, yeah, I can type 9 y'all incorrectly spelled. Unforgiving and merciful, as we hope we would be if we make mistakes in life. Um, there's a great thing about saying sorry. There's a great thing about apologies, and I made plenty of them in 2020 coming into 2021, and I felt better for it. And forgiveness is a wonderful thing. And, a lot of people quote Bible and scriptures and things like that. But I think, if you're a Christian or whatever, that forgiveness is one of the cornerstones of your religious faith. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Give more people a chance and more time to chat. I just want to, yeah, thumbs up or appreciate. I just want to see all the cards down, and then we'll take it from there. So, in the meantime, I'll continue to zip my lip and let other fullbacks and halfbacks carry the ball down the field and punts and kickoffs and all of that stuff. Yeah, I'm going to bed. Yeah, I'm going to also, Vern, I'm going to close it out now, guys. I'm a little fatigued from the drive today. If you didn't see the video, we came up on that terrible scene of that wind. It was so terribly windy this weekend up on the deserts in the Central Valley. It just wreaked havoc with traffic and things like that. Check that out. If you haven't checked out Requiem for a Deserted Desert Gas Station, please check that out. I think you'll enjoy the little bit of smartphone cinematography on that. It'll give you 5 or 6 minutes of seeing something very iconic in the desert that dust to dust it's called, as the earth reclaims all of its elements again. It's very interesting. Yeah, I will do a upload for you guys after I get my vaccination tomorrow morning. I don't think there'll be too much. Just do a morning, come back and get a cup of coffee and hang out with you guys. Have a good time. My favorite card. Let the chips fall where they may. That's right. That's right. I'm not ready to push all in yet. So, oh, to all of my moderators, thank you. To my official channel thumbnailographer Jody, thank you for everything that you do. I don't always use the thumbnail, but it's really nice to have those choices at the end of the stream. Thank you guys for being with me in Las Vegas. And if you enjoy the content, let other people know through social media too, and drop them a video that you enjoyed or something like that, and tell them to come on over and join the crowd. Thank you also to all the support there in Vegas. It was greatly appreciated. I didn't have any big excitements on gambling or anything like that. Ooh, I so wanted to hit another Royal, but I went up 200. I didn't really do much the next 2 days, and then I dropped back to about plus 60 on the trip, it was still fun. Disappointing, the food, the food, the food. Well, thank you, Lolly. I appreciate that. 13 pounds from Lolly. Let the chips fall where they may. Thank you very much for your kind generosity, Lolly. And like I say, I've always enjoyed listening. I didn't get caught in the other things, but thank you very much, everybody. Let the chips
fall where they may.
There we go. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Lolly, American, everybody else. Have yourself a wonderful day. I think there was one other one I just can't remember. But thank you, guys. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up on the way out, please do so. And enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks, everybody.